Hi there, Pam Foster here at AWAI, and I'm really excited about this live session you're about to watch because Steve Slaunwhite, one of the leading business-to-business copywriting authorities in North America or the globe, is going to walk through one of the biggest writing opportunities there is today, and it's growing like crazy. It's called B2B, Business to Business, and I want you to watch the presentation here because you're going to learn what it is and why it's great for writers right now and in the future. Enjoy. Hey, welcome to this month's Inside AWAI. I am Pam Foster. I'm the Learning Chief here at AWAI, and I'm delighted to be here with Steve Slaunwhite. I'm going to introduce him to you in a second, but the topic, this is a big one, you guys. Inside the ever-growing demand for B2B copywriters. And you may be asking, what the heck is B2B? We're going to explain all of that right now, okay? So first, I want to introduce you to my special guest. Hi, Steve.
How you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Excellent. It's great to see you here. We always love hearing from you. So in case you don't know Steve, he has 20 plus years, maybe that's even a little higher now, working for different companies. His expertise is B2B or business to business copywriting, which we'll explain in a second. He's also the author of the Everything Guide to Writing Copy. Very hard for me to say, I guess. Published by Simon & Schuster. He's also been featured in DM News, Direct Marketing News, Inside Direct Mail, the Wall Street Journal, Marketing Magazine, oh my gosh, many others. He was our AWAI Copywriter of the Year, I think in 2016. And
that's right.
He's the teacher of many of our B2B programs. He's also a faculty instructor over on B2B Writers International.com. So that is an AWAI entity. And if you haven't been over there, check it out. Steve is doing a lot of teaching over there. And we're so delighted to have him today because this is a topic near and dear to both of our hearts. We both work in B2B. So very quickly, what we'll cover is exactly what is B2B. If you've never heard of this, you are about to discover a giant world of opportunity for freelance writing. And one of the core principles of B2B marketing is lead generation. That is the beginning of a whole pipeline of getting people into the sales cycle for B2B companies. We'll talk about how B2B copywriting and content writing play a very big role in that success, in that pipeline. And then why you can charge big fees? Well, because you're driving business for different companies. So we'll talk about the kinds of fees you could charge, how to find and approach B2B clients, and then we'll have time at the end for Q&A. As Jake said, if you have any questions for Steve or me, please post them in the Q&A. We will either type the answers to you. We have a whole team behind the scenes ready to answer your questions, or I'll save them for Steve and we'll be sure to cover them at the Q&A section at the end of the session, okay? So with that, I'm going to jump on in with Steve. All right, here's the question of the day. If you're brand new to this whole industry, business to business, what exactly is it?
Okay, B2B. Well, the example I'd like to give a lot is the $20 million toaster, right? And that is, a toaster is a consumer item, right? It's B2C, business to consumer, sold to us. We go to Walmart and we buy a toaster. But if you think about a toaster, there's a lot of businesses that sold products and services to the toaster company in order to get that toaster made. The metal, the steel, the components, the electrical doodads, the accounting software, the staff training services, it goes on and on and on and on. There is a myriad of B2B purchases that are made, businesses selling to other businesses in order to get that toaster made to begin with, right? So that's a good way of thinking about it. There's behind the scenes, when we buy a toaster, there are hundreds, if not maybe thousands of different B2B purchases and transactions that have happened behind the scenes to get that toaster to you. So that's a business to business, businesses selling products and services to other businesses. It certainly includes products, manufactured products like medical equipment. Wholesalers, people who are selling manufactured products to retailers and in other ways, packaged supplies, for example. Many years ago, for a couple of years, I was a salesperson for a packaging wholesaling company. So we sold bubble wrap and stuff like that to businesses, right? E-commerce, selling office equipment, selling supplies, and also, shipping, transportation, equipment, and components and things of that nature. So anything that's made and manufactured. But that isn't it. There's also B2B services, and there's a whole huge service sector in businesses selling to other businesses. Training. I do a lot of work with sales training companies. Right. So they sell training packages to companies, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 packages. Right. That's business to business. Recruitment, hiring services, accounting, legal services, consulting, executive coaching, events planning. It goes on and on. All these services sold to other businesses. And there's another one it's kind of a hybrid, and that is selling software and apps. Like we're on Zoom right now. Zoom is an app. And in the industry, it's often called a SaaS, software as a service, SaaS. So if you see the SaaS industry, where people calling themselves SaaS copywriters, that's what they mean. They're writing copy for companies that produce and develop and sell apps. And there's multi-million-dollar companies that are built on apps, as you know, Pam.
Yeah, I was just going to throw in, there are even think about email providers. There are several different email service providers where a company can set up all their emails in that system. That's an app or a software system. I mean, there are software to run a business like a veterinary practice or a fitness studio, or anybody that needs to run scheduling, appointments, invoices, all that kind of stuff. That's business to business. That's the kind of software and other technology that keeps a business running. So it's huge.
That's right. One of my clients is a company called Exact Contact, and they have an app, a SaaS, for real estate agents to help them manage their business, take care of their contacts, manage their listings, do some email promotions within the app. So it's kind of app to run their business. So that's a huge thing. And there are hundreds of things. But there's also companies that you may think of as B2C. You may think they only sell to consumers, but they also have thriving B2B divisions. For example, I was buying a whole bunch of Starbucks cards. I do it during Christmas to send to key clients as a gift, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I buy Starbucks cards, I don't go to the B2C Starbucks.com site. There is a Starbucks corporate website. Mm-hmm. And I order from the corporate website. And the way that website is written and the way they market to me is very different than the B2C site. It's very business to business, and it's just marketing to me as a business, right?
Yeah, I used to work at LL Bean as a copywriter, and we had two divisions, believe it or not. Most people think of LL Bean as consumer products only, but you don't know, there is a whole corporate side where you can have like Weather Channel. All the guys on Weather Channel and women on Weather Channel, when they have their jackets and they're standing in the middle of a hurricane, the jacket says LL Bean on it. Well, they cleverly sell products with their logo or the Weather Channel logo or whatever the business is. They sell those to other businesses to outfit their team or use corporate gifts. LL Bean products make great corporate gifts. So, no matter what industry you think of, there is a whole business to business side. I just wanted to throw that in there, but let's keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also, I have a pretty broad definition of B2B. So there's also an area in B2B that isn't technically selling to a business. You're selling to individuals, but those individuals are professionals. They tend to be business professionals. To give you an example, one of my clients is a company that does continuing ed courses for lawyers. So lawyers who are already lawyers, but they're taking their continuing ed courses in certain areas, right? So they're taking those courses. They're individual lawyers taking those courses. So technically it's B2B, a B2C, but it's really B2B because they're doing it for their business. They're doing it for their career. So you tend to use a B2B approach, right? So companies that sell to professionals. I have another client who sells to real estate agents. Okay. Yep. I would say that's business to business, even though they're individuals, because they're doing it for buying for business reasons.
Right.
Career reasons, business reasons.
And they have a big audience, like the realtors. How big an audience is that, right? They're all individuals, but collectively it's this massive market for that client that you have, right, Steve?
That's right. That's right. So there's you can think of B2B as pretty broad, and a good way of thinking of B2B is actually selling to professionals. Right. Selling to professionals at B2B companies, selling to professionals individually. They're professionals making buying decisions for business and professional reasons, right? And there are a lot of B2B companies. I mean, just in the US alone, just on the latest research we can scratch up for you, there's 1.3 million companies in the US that have revenues greater than $1 million or more than 10 employees. Right. So I find that's a good threshold. If a company has more than $1 million in sales, they tend to be a good prospect for your copywriting services. They tend to be at a place where they can afford to pay your professional rates. They need great content and copy on an ongoing basis. They're at that stage, right? And you'll never run out of potential clients. I mean, are you going to call on 1.3 million companies? You'll never run out of possible clients in this space. It's a bottomless well, really.
Well, one thing I want to add to that, Steve, is that you only need, you guys, if this is really kind of new to you, keep in mind you only need a handful of clients for a really great career, maybe 4 to 6 a year, maybe not even that many, because the trick to B2B copywriting is they need lots of different ways to reach their audiences, lots of different copywriting projects and content writing projects. So you could have like 3 clients that keep you busy all the time, all year long, because it doesn't just stop. You don't write one email and then go, okay, that's the only email you need ever again. No, it goes on and on and on. So we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second, but I wanted to just put this in perspective to you. You only need a few clients. So
yeah, and that's a very good point, because most of the successful B2B copywriters I know have 2 or 3 anchor clients that represent at least half their business, if not 75% of it, and then a few smaller clients. You don't need a lot of clients to be successful, right? So that's an important point. Also, budgets. Now, this is the latest survey from Chief Marketer, the 2023 survey, and they do a big survey of B2B marketing directors all over the United States. And even though we're in a recession, right? Even though the economy is uncertain, look at the spending. 37% plan on spending more on marketing this year, right? Just 1 out of 3 companies are going to spend more on marketing this year. So B2B companies are investing more in marketing, not less, even during these times. So that's not unusual. It just keeps growing all the time. So the money's there. The growth is there. This isn't a shrinking industry. This is a rapidly growing industry. More money into marketing, which means they're spending more money on marketing services from B2B copywriters, right?
Right. Okay. So I'm seeing some questions about what is involved in B2B writing and why do they pay you and all that stuff. Steve put together a scenario that will help you understand the scope that you can bring to B2B clients and how much they need you. So it all starts with something called lead generation, which is the business of getting traffic, getting prospects to notice your business, your client's business, and to sign up for something where they become a sales lead. And then there's a sequence to that lead getting more touch points from the client, and then ultimately a salesperson on the client's company would close the sale. But until it's closed, until they've forked over money, it's called a lead. And lead generation is a massive part of B2B marketing. So Steve, take it away, walk through that.
Yeah, it's all about leads in B2B marketing. Marketing departments are generating leads to pass off to sales, and sales closes them. So leads are the currency of B2B marketing. Let me give you an example, just paint the scenario for you. Like, how would you sell a $15,000 workplace safety training program to a warehouse operations director? So she's a warehouse operations director, you're trying to sell her. How would you do that? Well, you wouldn't do it like as an online sales page, right? You wouldn't have a web page that describes the program, have a buy now button, and then she whips out her credit card and spends $15,000 of the company's money. It's too expensive. It's too important of a decision. It's a decision that she needs to consider and think about and talk to others about. It needs more information, right? So, I mean, it'd be great. It'd be great if you can sell it directly. If you could figure out how to sell a $15,000 training program directly, good for you. But in most cases, it requires a first step, and that's called a sales lead. What you're trying to do is you generate a lead. In fact, one of AWAI's alumni, Robin Rees, I'll never forget when she said this to me. She said, you've been a marketing director of a B2B company for many years. And she says, Steve, it's all about leads, leads, leads. That's what B2B marketers think about, generating leads, because that's how they that's how they assess their value in the company, is they generate leads for the sales team, right? So leads are really important. And the road to getting a sale in B2B tends to be longer, right? If you're going to sell a $15,000 training program, you're not going to sell it right away from one web page. You might, it's going to a longer process. Someone's going to want to get the sell sheet about it, read the web page, maybe look at a case study, maybe talk to a sales rep. You might need to communicate back and forth email. They might want to see a demonstration or things like that. And it's a longer process. Take a look at this chart here from Chief Marketer. Again, this is recent research. You see the 31% says the average length of a sale from the time someone finds out about a particular product or service till the time they buy that B2B product or service, 3 to 6 months. 31% of companies say 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
That's fairly typical that I see among B2B companies. So during that 3 to 6 months, there's a lot of marketing communications that need to be developed, okay? So what exactly is a lead, right? We're talking about leads, generating leads. A lead is simply someone who has, in a way, raised their hand and said, okay, I'm interested in learning more about this product or service. I'm interested in learning more. And companies want to generate leads for one key reason. They know leads turn to sales. Leads turn to sales. They know that. They know the more leads that they generate, a certain percentage of those will become sales. All right. So where do you come in as a copywriter? As a B2B copywriter, helping companies generate leads and then turn those leads into sales during this longer sales process that B2B companies have. So let's take a look at a typical lead generating campaign and your role in it. Okay, so let's say a company produces a white paper to use as a free offer. A white paper is simply a long piece of content, 8 to 12 pages, that describes a new technology, a product, approach, something like that. It's like a little ebook, right? Sometimes they're called ebooks. Ebooks are white papers. So they create this white paper, all right? They're going to use it as a free offer, right? And then they're going to create a landing page that people can learn more about the white paper and sign up for it. And when they sign up for it, then they become a sales lead for the company because they've given up their email address and other contact information. All right. So you got the white paper, you got the landing page. Those are two pieces of content that you could be writing as a B2B copywriter. White paper, is a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 gig. The landing page is $500 to $1,000 right there. Right.
And landing pages are really where a person will fill out a form or not. You have to excite people about the white paper on that landing page, or make sure that they see a benefit to reading it, or they'll go, never mind, I don't need that. So the white paper is important, but so is this landing page. That's why it's another valued piece of this whole puzzle. So
in fact, the conversion rate for B2B tech companies of lead generation landing pages hovers around 15%. 15, not 50, 15%.
Wow.
So if you can write a better landing page that improves that, gets it to 20%, okay, it's going to end up with more sales for the company at the end. We're going to show you an illustration of that in just a second. But you're not done yet. You've written the white paper, you've written the landing page for the company. But now the company wants to drive prospects to the landing page. How do they get them there? They got to do some promotion. And how are they going to promote that? Well, they may do it with a lot of cases, email marketing. They'll email to their list. They may even email to other companies' lists, as a sponsor or a vendor of that company. But they're going to use email marketing. They're going to promote it on their website. There's a good example there right on the screen where this sales training company, Richardson, has a banner on their website promoting their white paper, right on their website. So anybody happens to across their website, they see that offer, they click on the download here. Where does that download here button take them? Takes them to the landing page where they fill it out, right? Mm-hmm. Direct mail, sponsored Facebook post. That's a very popular way of promoting lead gen offers, like a white paper. Companies will do sponsored LinkedIn posts, sponsored Facebook posts. All right, they look like regular posts, but they're sponsored. They're ads. Okay, yeah. Online ads as well. You can see all the examples here. And
for
go
online
ahead. Go ahead,
ads,
Pam.
Yeah, online ads you might see like on a journal website for a professional association journal, or a trade show or conference that's happening in a specific market. They will have sponsors, and so you might go to the conference or trade show website and see a series of ads over on the right column. That's how white papers and leads and other materials are get attention from the right audience.
That's right. And by the way, you might be thinking, oh, look at all the graphics. Do I do the graphics? No, companies just want you to write the copy. All right. That's what companies want from you most is great copywriting. They have people and agencies that'll handle the graphics for you. And there are many other ways that a company may be promoting their white paper. Blog posts. Social media posts. We talked about social media ads, sponsored posts, but regular social media posts at trade shows and events, like Pam mentioned. Videos. Sometimes they do a video promotion and put it on social media on their website. Placed articles and other publications. So they may do many different ways in this campaign to generate leads, driving people to the landing page for that free offer for the white paper. So you get a sense there of just how much the material that you may be involved in writing just in this one lead generating campaign, right?
Yeah, it could be 6 or 7 or 10 pieces, and it all adds up.
But you're not done yet, right?
Nope.
You've created the white paper and the landing page. You've helped write the materials to promote the white paper offer, drive people to the landing page. Once people sign up and become a sales lead, often what marketing departments do, sometimes they just send the lead over to sales and say, forget about it. It's up to sales now. But most smarter companies, what they do is they do a lead nurturing follow-up. They have an email sequence that follows up, builds those relationships, builds those leads, gets those leads excited about the product and service and opportunity, and tries to close them with, having a salesperson call them or setting up a demo or something like that. So there's often a follow-up sequence of emails that you'll write as well. It could be anywhere from 6, 7, 8, 10, 15 emails, right? And at the end result, hopefully many of those leads, a good number of those leads will become sales for the company. And you, as the B2B copywriter, played an important role in that. The sales team played an important role, the product development team played an important role, but so did you as the B2B copywriter for your client. And clients see that value. They really do. Here's some, speaking of offers, we talked about white paper as a free offer that companies use to generate leads. They also use ebooks, which are more like an educational thing. They can be anywhere from 7, 8, 9, 15, 20 pages long. Webinars are very popular. And you might be wondering, yeah, but I don't write a webinar. I've written a few over the last couple of years, right? You write webinar scripts, okay?
I actually have a little anecdote about that, if I can throw
go ahead.
I was working with a B2B agency a while back, and they said, do you write webinar slides, presentations? I said, sure. So it was Amazon Business in the UK, and their salespeople had these long narrative things that they wanted to present, but they didn't want to either have time or bother with the slides. So I took their long narrative stuff and created slide decks for them to present from, and they paid me to do that. Like, you wouldn't believe it. There's so many different opportunities out there that you would never believe. But webinar decks are, slide decks are a thing. So
yeah, I didn't even have to write the slide decks. I just wrote the scripts and talking points for the speakers for these webinars. It came up during the pandemic when a lot of companies couldn't do trade shows and that, so they did more webinars. But webinars are a big deal. I just worked with a client just last month who tells me that they do somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 or 40 webinars a year. I mean, it's their lead generating engine, right? And they're always looking for help with scripting and writing webinars. So it's one of the more popular lead gen offers. White papers, ebooks, webinars are probably the most popular lead gen offers. Some SaaS companies, remember we talked about software as a service before, they often do a free trial as their lead generation. So you've seen these before. Try it free for 30 days. And then during those 30 days, what's going to happen? You're going to receive emails trying to build your interest and persuade you to be a paying customer at the end of the 30-day trial. So that's another very popular lead gen offer for SaaS companies. And if you can write an email sequence during a free trial period that motivates more people to actually sign up and buy the software at the end, subscribe, I mean, you're going to be in demand right there. There's a specialty right there, right? So there's many different types of lead gen offers that you might be involved in.
Cool. All right. And then there are other marketing tools that may or may not be part of lead gen. They may be part of, once someone is a lead, you're going to keep talking to them to win them over. Because again, maybe you don't know this, and I want to talk about this a little bit. A B2B buyer is often not making a decision on their own. Usually, like I've worked in corporate America, usually there's a boss or the chief executive officer or the other senior managers. Some of these purchases can be millions of dollars, right, for a corporation. Yeah. So there isn't a guy just going, I'm going to buy that forklift, bling, and do that by themselves. They have to get all of this content from a company to evaluate the solution and then bring it to a committee or bring it to senior management and get buy-in. Like, okay, we all agree this is the right software solution for our company, so let's go ahead. Well, that doesn't happen overnight. So all these other pieces that Steve has listed here will just keep reinforcing that evaluative process until the sale is made. So I just wanted to mention that because you may not understand how the buying, the people behind the buying that you're going to be writing to aren't just making decisions on their own, usually in a company setting.
Yeah, that's a big difference between B2B and B2C. B2C, a consumer can make an impulse decision, but a B2B professional will want to at least consult other people in the company before they make a buying decision. They really don't want to make it on their own because they don't want to make a bad decision and be professionally embarrassed, right? So they want feedback. If they're gonna buy a $50,000 sales training program, they want to talk to some other people. So in case it all goes wrong, they can say, well, we had buy-in from the CFO and the CEO liked it, and they have some protection. So that they do consult and work together. There's often more than one person involved in the buying decision. And hence all these other types of marketing materials that may need to be written. Case studies, these are customer success stories. Those are really popular in B2B. And a lot of companies won't even buy or make a purchasing decision unless they've seen a couple of case studies, right? A case study is simply how a product worked at another company, and what that company thought of the product, right? It's their story, customer success story.
And they call that peer-to-peer proof. So it's not just us saying our client is great, or, it's not just the client like tooting their own horn. Case studies will show, okay, a company just like yours tried our system and they had amazing results. They cut costs, they were more efficient, their employees were happier, their customers were happier, whatever it is. A buyer will see that from a fellow person in the industry and be more impressed than only hearing from the client about why you should buy this solution. That peer-to-peer proof is really strong.
Yeah, and the brochures and sell sheets. A sell sheet is simply a single page brochure. They call them sell sheets. Slide presentations. One thing not listed here, e-newsletters. There's a bit of a resurgence in e-newsletters in B2B companies. And that's great because it's a regular gig, right? They might publish an e-newsletter every week or every 2 weeks. Emails for different purposes, social media, videos are increasingly used in B2B. There's a huge growth in videos. So if you learn how to script a promotional video for a B2B company, you can be in demand because they're doing a lot of videos right now, and articles and all types of other content. In fact, when you work for B2B companies, you're going to be surprised at the variety of content that you'll be writing for just one company. It's a pretty wide variety, and if you like variety, you'll like B2B, right?
Yep. And I want to touch on this next subject because all of this copy, so many companies really don't know what works when it comes to copy and content writing, and they're going to rely on trained writers. They don't have time to be trained. That's not even their job. The clients who you would typically be working with are like the marketing directors or the VP of marketing in a company, and they are so busy on the whole bigger picture of marketing and sales that they aren't really trained writers. They may have a couple writers in staff, but those writers may not know every kind of project. I've often worked with clients who have a writer in staff, but that writer may not know how to do optimized websites or write video scripts or other disciplines that you can then offer as a freelancer. A lot of companies hire freelancers, even if they do have in-house staff, because they've got so much they have to do, or their in-house staff isn't specializing in some of the things you can offer as a freelancer. The bottom line is really good copywriting is crucial for the results. I just wanted to bring that up.
You're absolutely right. And that's a good question. Like, so some copywriters say, well, don't these companies have in-house writers and marketers writing copy? They do, but they can't keep up with the amount of content. They just can't. In fact, the company I did some training for a company last month, and that's what they told me. We can't keep up with the content. It just buries us. And also long form content, they don't do in-house. The ebooks, white papers, even case studies and articles, they don't want to do that kind of stuff in-house. It's just too time consuming. They want to outsource it to someone like you, a B2B copywriter, and pay you very well for it, right? That's the opportunity. So I want to show you some more statistics, just so we're grounded in reality here. Yeah. This is kind of recent stuff. Here's a bunch of a survey of B2B marketers were asked, what is their most important lead gen tool, right? And take a look at the results here. Websites, landing pages, emails, articles, blog posts, okay, white papers, ebooks, social media videos, even webinars. Except for trade shows and live events, you can write all these. You can help a company with all these. Their most important lead generating stuff. Here's another question. This may seem like the same information, but it's a question asked in kind of a different way. What B2B marketers say works best in lead generation. And you get similar numbers. Email, 67%. Articles, blog posts, social media posts, white papers, and ebooks. There it is again. Video, higher than years before. Companies B2B companies are creating more video, right? So if you like writing video scripts, you want to be a little bit of a Hollywood script writer type of thing, then you can write video scripts for B2B companies as well. I've written several. They're a lot of fun. It's kind of cool to see it done and online. E-newsletters are there's a resurgence of those as well. Ads, website pages, direct mail. So you can see there, it's these are what marketers are saying works best. So these are B2B marketers, your potential clients, saying this is what we want. This is what works. This is what we need more of, right? And they
Yeah.
need writers to make this happen.
And here's the thing about this list that I'm noticing. Emails, you're not just going to write one. It's going to be ongoing. How about articles or blog posts? You're not just going to write one. They have to publish information every month. Social media posts, not just one, So this is a thing where if newsletters every month, you're not just going to write one. It's a beautiful industry because you'll often work on something called retainer, which is you can lock in for a year working with a client month after month on all of these things or some of these things that they need. And I know that you work under retainer, Steve, and if you can explain that a little bit.
Yeah, it's simply instead of having a client have to issue you a contract for every single thing you write. If you a lot of B2B companies, they need ongoing help with copywriting, right? So they'll come to you and they'll say, listen, can we put you on some sort of monthly retainer to make it easier for both of us? We'll pay you, we'll guarantee $3,000 a month for approximately this much work every month. And are you okay with that? Can we work something out there? And you work it out and negotiate with the client, and you end up with a retainer. The great thing about a retainer is that you're getting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month that you can count on a regular basis, right? Yeah, that you can sleep better at night. And it's easier for the client because they don't have to invoice for every single thing, and write a check for every single thing you do. They simply pay your retainer every month. There's some complexities in there you got to be thinking about. We can get into later during the Q&A, but that's the basics of a retainer.
Yep, great, thank you. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay, so it's, we've been talking a lot about companies need content. They need this stuff written and that, but it's more than just needing stuff written.
Right.
They need the stuff written because they want to improve the number of leads they get, improve sales. More leads, more sales. There's an emphasis on leads because you're writing for marketing departments, right? So they want copy that helps them generate more leads. And they know good copywriting when they see it because they see the results. Here's a typical scenario. Remember we talked about a landing page before, right? You have a lead gen landing page. I mentioned conversion rates on for technology companies. I just saw a recent survey, averages around 15%. They're pretty poor, right? So let's say there is a landing page a company has for a lead generating offer, right? And their conversion rate is 10%. That means every time, for every 1,000 people that visit that page, that driven to that page, 100 end up filling out the form completely, submitting and downloading the white paper, becoming sales leads for the company they can follow up on, right? So you can say, okay, every 100 leads, 5%, there's 5% lead conversions, you end up with 5 new sales. 5 new sales doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind, we're talking about products that could be $10,000, $50,000. This is a substantial number of sales. Let's say you, as a skilled copywriter who know the best practices of maximizing conversions on a web page and writing it well, let's say you can improve conversion rates to 13%. So you take it from 10 to 13%. That's not much of an improvement. I think you can take it from 10 to 30%, but 10 to 13%. Same numbers, 1,000 people visit, but 130 leads are generated. 5% conversion, you end up not with 5 new sales, but 6 to 7 new sales. And if it's a product or service that the average purchase is $40,000, $50,000, you can see that's a substantial amount of revenue, new revenue for the company, simply because you helped them improve in conversion rates on a page, right? So companies know this. Companies know that better copywriting on key pages and key emails, key communications will trickle down into more sales. They know this, right? So they're looking for people like you who know how to write copy that increases conversions, increases leads.
Right. So you were like, think of what this means for a $100,000 product. If they get 5 new sales, that's $500,000. That's pretty good from your.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, now, so let's talk about the fees. Now you know why B2B projects are valuable to clients, because it brings in more and more potential customers, more leads that could turn into more sales. So to reward you or to motivate you and entice you to write copy for them, you can expect clients, and they do expect to pay fees like this. We have these fee ranges from industry searches that we've done on salaries and pay rates and freelance projects. And we did a whole collective. If you haven't seen our, I'll talk in a minute about our AWAI State of Industry pricing guide that we do every year. We base that on a collection or an aggregate of typical rates. And B2B tends to pay more because they're bigger and they have a lot of different needs. So, help us with the range fees, the fee range.
Yeah, and when we put together these fees, these aren't superstar copywriter fees here. These are realistic fees for for people who have some professional training and getting into the business. These are realistic fees, particularly at the lower end. But you look at writing website pages and landing pages, which tend to be short in B2B. They tend to be less than 500 words. 500 plus a page is normal. Emails, $250 to $750 each, depending on the scope of the project. And you might be writing an email campaign with 10 or 15 emails, keep in mind, right? So this ends up with a four-digit gig. Articles and blog posts, anywhere from short, simple blog posts, $150, to more involved articles, $800 and up. White papers, ebooks, special reports. A lot of copywriters love writing those. $2,500 to $7,000. Just your very first white paper, you should be getting at least $2,500, if not $3,000 for your very first one, right?
Yeah.
And as you write more white papers, you should be getting 5,000 plus per white paper. Video scripts, $500 to $1,500 to write the script for a video, for a 1 to 5 minute video.
Yep.
Webinar scripts, $500 to $1,500 just to write the content, not to prepare the slides and design slides, just to write the script and the content. And I would actually nudge that number up a little bit. I think $500 is probably low for most of these projects. Maybe it's more like $750 to $2,000 to prepare the content for webinars these days.
Wow,
so
nice.
You got healthy professional rates here. And the reason why you do is because in most cases, B2B companies aren't looking for cheap copywriters.
Right.
They're not motivated by the copywriter who comes to them and says, I'll write your blog post for $10 a post. That doesn't turn them on, that turns them off. They want to hire professionals. Right? They want to pay professional rates and get professional work. That's what they really want, right? So if you can write professional caliber copy, okay, these are the kind of rates that you can expect.
Yep. Okay. And speaking of rates, if you guys want to look at the different kinds of fees you can charge as a writer, we have our annual, amazing, very comprehensive State of the Industry report on copywriting rates. And the great thing about it is it also talks about what is popular right now for clients as far as projects go. There's a whole bunch of data in there on B2B projects specifically. There's a list of 80, believe it or not, 80 different projects you could be offering clients and the fee ranges for those. There's also a little section for clients to understand the value of what they're buying when they hire a skilled copywriter. So check that out. The link is at the top here, copywriter-rates, and it's a free guide you can download anytime, but it really gives you a glimpse of the whole scope of possibility for you. So it's kind of fun. All right, now, we had several questions on this. I promised we'd talk about it now. How to find and approach B2B clients, or how to attract them to you, really. So let's talk about this for a bit.
Yeah, there are many ways to do that, to attract clients. First of all, B2B clients, B2B marketing directors, they do want to know about the resources available to them to create content. They do want to learn more about a copywriter who has some B2B copywriting training, and they know how to write a case study and a lead gen campaign materials. That they really want to talk to people like that. Okay, because the one thing I hear from B2B marketers all the time is they say, well, there's a lot of copywriters around, a lot of writers around. Where are the B2B writers? We can't find good B2B writers. They're always saying that. They've been saying that for years. So they want to hear from you if you know how to write good B2B copy and content, right? So that's the good news. They want to talk to you. Where do you find them, right?
Yeah.
One thing is LinkedIn is a great tool. I mean, most cases, B2B marketing directors, owners of B2B companies, they're on LinkedIn, right? Are they active on LinkedIn? Maybe not. A lot of them are, right? But LinkedIn offers you all kinds of ways to connect with potential clients. You can post on LinkedIn. You can become active on LinkedIn, create a high profile on LinkedIn, connect with potential prospects on LinkedIn, and start getting some inquiries. Someone who's done that brilliantly is Steve Maurer, who specializes in B2B industrial products.
Right.
He originally started on AWAI and learned the ropes of B2B copywriting at AWAI. Now he's a super successful copywriter, right?
Yep.
But he's connected a lot with clients on LinkedIn. Sorry, Pam, I keep cutting you off.
No, it's okay. I agree that, before you go further on the other ones, we have a session on LinkedIn in something we call Inside AWAI, which you're part of right now. We have more than 50 different Inside AWAI sessions like this, and a lot of them are on attracting clients, what the clients look like, where they are, what are they looking for, how to find them, how to bring them to you. And so please check out those free sessions, because we could spend and have spent a whole hour on how do I get the clients? How do I find the clients? We already answered that in depth in many of these program sessions that we've done. So we're going to continue here, but I wanted to draw your attention to our wealthy library, our big, huge library of different ways to get clients. So there's one called 26 Ways to Get Clients. There's one about what are clients like and what are they looking for? And we cover that in depth. So if you ever have a question on where are the clients, check out our sessions. We even have a niche session. Like if you want to work in a special area, we have how to choose a niche, how to go after those clients. So, that's why I put that picture here of our Inside AWAI sessions. Look specifically under the landing, assignments, and building your business category. I think there are 3 categories on that page. Scroll to find this category and you'll be like, oh, wow, here's a whole bunch of great stuff on how to get clients. And it goes into depth and very specifically how to reach clients and how to attract clients to you. My favorite is attracting clients to me. I don't have to go chasing anybody. They're coming to me because I have a LinkedIn profile that rocks. I have a website maybe that talks about my skills. And but we go into super detail on those things in those other sessions. So I just want to make sure you know that's there for you.
Yeah, and your clients are mainly B2B marketing directors of B2B companies, and for smaller B2B companies, maybe the owner who also acts as the marketing director. But also, I see on the list here B2B marketing agencies. There's a lot of ad agencies, design firms, content marketing agencies that do work for their clients that also need B2B copywriters. They have in-house writers, of course, but they get overloaded, right? Or they don't do a specialty like a white paper, and they bring in a freelance writer for their client's project. And that could be a great source of work as well. Agencies tend to be pretty fast-paced and demanding, but you can learn a lot working with an agency. So that's another type of client as well. Yep.
And we're getting a lot of questions. What if I'm new and or if I'm not familiar with a niche? So I want to address that. If you're willing to invest in a skill that you can sell, you won't be new anymore, right? If you're willing to learn B2B copywriting, the best practices from someone like Steve here, you won't be new anymore. You will have knowledge under your belt that your clients don't have time to go and get trained on. So if you are willing to study and invest in yourself and get the skills, there is no such thing as new. You already, just by even being here, you know a lot more than clients do. But seriously, any new venture that you're going to go on, you have to invest in learning and mastering it, or at least studying it enough to get out there and give it a go. So I would erase the whole new worry and just learn the craft. That's how you're going to be valuable to clients. And if you're not in a specific niche, don't worry about that. Some clients do prefer that you know something about their market, but it's not a deal breaker at all. I mean, I've written for wacky things like commercial dumpsters. Do I have a commercial dumpster background? Heck no. But I know how to write B2B copy, so I can talk to a client selling commercial dumpster, solutions, and say, all right, why are your commercial dumpsters the best on the planet? What do you want me to say about them that will get attention? What does your audience worry about? I mean, you can ask these questions to any client in any market, and that's how you'll know what to write. So I want to erase any kind of fear, because if this is something you want to go for, and you're willing to invest in learning it, because really that's the only way you can offer any service of any kind, is to learn how to do that, then you'll be great. And clients will be thrilled that you took the time to learn, and you'll be ready for them. So I hope that kind of wipes out all the newbie questions, or, how do I become skilled at this? Just like any skill on the planet that you want to sell. I mean, I think of it like, okay, let's say you want to open a car wash or a doggy daycare business or something like that. You have to invest in it, and you have to learn how to do those things. It's the same here, and we're giving you every tool possible to be able to do this. A lot of them are free. Some of them cost some money, because it's going to be worth it. The return for you is going to be so worth it if you're willing to do that. So enough about that. I just wanted to kind of wipe out the fear that you're new and nobody will want you if you're new. You won't be new if you study this. So.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we all started the same way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And clients really don't care that much about how many years you've been doing it. They just care that you can do it, right? And if you can show them a piece of writing, a sample of a case study, even if it's a case study that for a pretend client that you did to have in your portfolio, or a practice email that you created that showcase how you would write a promotional email, and you show them that great writing, that's really what motivates them the most. They get excited that you can write great copy. That's really, honestly, all they care about. I wish clients hired me because I have 25 plus years experience, but they don't care. They just care that I can write great copy for them.
Yep. And I'm typing away. So did you want to cover anything else here, or do we just want to open the floor for questions?
Yeah, we have a few minutes left, so I'd like to answer any questions anybody has.
Peggy has a question. I'm looking into a disability perspective in B2B HR copy, human resources. Do you feel that's too limited, Steve?
Yeah, that's pretty narrow. You're writing for HR, recruitment, disabilities. That's a very narrow niche. Now, there's nothing wrong with having that as a specialty. You can be AR recruitment copywriting for B2B companies, and that is a thing, right? That's a big deal, a big niche with a specialty in disabilities, right? And that kind of hiring, you can do that. So you're writing everything they need, but you have this specialty that's sort of it's a bonus almost. You can position it that way, and that would work. I wouldn't restrict yourself just to disability recruitment.
Okay. Where do COS members go to sign up? If somebody in the Q&A group can steer this person to the Circle of Success link, that would be great, because that'll be separate. Daniel's a beginner. This is perfect for you. Beginners, welcome. Come on in. Steve is going to
No, I'm going to take it. It's a nuts and bolts course. I could take it right from the very beginning and build your skills up over the 9 weeks, and your skills in portfolio and knowledge. And so no matter where you're at, I'll work with you. Right?
Yeah,
I'll take you where you need to go in this program.
That's what's beautiful about this, is it's perfect for beginners. It's perfect if you're in the middle and you're rethinking. Okay, maybe B2B would be cool, but I'm not sure. Just check out the link, awai.com/B2B demand, to see what it's all about and see if it excites you. Then you might go, heck yeah, this is for me. How long are the classes in the 9-week program? Typically an hour and a half each session? Or?
Typically each week they're an hour and a half.
Perfect. Okay.
But there's more to it than that. There are obviously assignments that I provide feedback on. And you have access to me during the program as well. You can email me anytime during the program to ask questions and get advice.
Yeah. Okay, and if you're an Infinity member, we'll give you that information as well. Basically call, I would say Jake or Jade.
Pam, yeah. So for Infinity members and COS members, their discounted rates are all available on their membership pages.
Okay. So COS members and Infinity members, go directly to your membership page and you'll see information there. Thank you. Okay, let's see now. V has been wondering about the B2B side of the food and wine industry. Is there a lot of movement there in terms of demand? You know what? That's one of my favorite categories, food and wine, right? You can tell. No. Every month I do something called a launch party, and we look into niche industries and trade show lists. For example, there's a trade show list called Orbus, Orbus, and they list every United States trade show happening all the time. You know, whatever's happening, they've got 4,000 trade shows from now until like the next year. And if you can search just by food and wine, and there are hundreds of trade shows in that industry, and those are all business to business, like Food Safety Council or the Wine Growers or a conference or baking. I mean, they really get down to specifics. So check out orbus.com and search for their trade show list. And then you'll see if a niche is viable. And trust me, most niches are, especially food and wine. So go for it. Yay. Okay, let's see. Ryan. Sarah's answering that question. Let's see. I like writing about some things. I figure which research I can write about a lot of things. I just need someone to wants to try me out. Well, I mean, I think when you offer some specific skills, you will have clients that want to give you a try, you know, so keep going on that. Okay, let's see. Is there a place within AWI site where I can get advice on how to introduce myself and what I offer? Oh, Bobby, website, you mean on your website? We have an Inside AWI session on how to create a magnetic website for your freelance business. Please check that out. We went into an hour on what to put on your website so clients will come find you and be like, hey, are you available? Can you access past launch parties? I don't know, but we do them quite often. So Jake, maybe you can, I don't know when we're offering it again, but watch for news about that. Okay, any other questions? V, I'm so glad you're excited about the food and wine industry. It's huge. Let's see now. Here's one for you. Attorney Randy Robinson asks, how much of an opportunity is there for people who are martial artists and would like to write about that industry? I have an answer, but Steve, what do you think?
Well, I'd like your advice, actually, Pam, of finding out if there's a trade show or trade organization that caters to martial arts studios, fitness studios, people like that. If there is a trade show, the exhibitors at that trade show are your prospects. Those are B2B companies selling to martial arts centers, selling to fitness centers, and they are your potential clients. So if such a thing exists, then that makes it a viable niche.
Yeah, and there are, yes, if you go to Google, don't just look for the trade show thing I told you, but just Google trade associations. So you might put martial arts trade association or business association, something like that. And I'll bet you'll find one or two or four. Any niche that you're thinking of, try that. But also, we have a free Inside AWI session on how to choose a niche, and we walk through the exact steps to look for any niche you are thinking of and then see what's there for you. So we do that. We look at trade shows, conferences, journals, online professional journals, that kind of thing. We walk you through a whole hour on how to dig in and really look up if there's something you're interested in. Okay, wowee, I think we're done. In case you missed the link, I'm just going to say it one more time. To work with Steve Slaunwhite, which you can clearly see he's amazing, go to awai.com/B2B demand and see what's happening starting in March 21st. And yeah, I hope you go for it because it'll be so worth it. And I thank you, Steve, for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, crew in the background, for answering all these questions like crazy. I love all the questions. Excellent questions. I really love how interested you are in this, and I hope you check it out. And we will see you next month for another Inside AWAI. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.